I do not understand summer people, man. People wait all year for this type of weather, and I just have to ask, why? I saw a post. Somebody said this: I would take 105 degrees over 30 degrees any day of the week. Brother, I'll take 20 over 90. Let me explain something. I got swamp ass today on my way to work. Literally. On my way to work. I got swamp ass walking to my job site. I didn't even start working yet. Alright, so I made a tier list video a couple of days ago, 3 days ago, and it's actually been doing pretty good. So I've noticed that my tier list videos in general seem to do pretty good compared to my other content, so we're going to keep it up. And what tier list are we doing today? We're doing head coaches. Are they on the hot seat? Yes or no? And here are the tiers. At the very top, we got cold as balls. We got safe, I, new. These are the new head coaches, so they're kind of in the middle. Sketchy, hell, and then Phoenix, Arizona. I mean, that's pretty straightforward, right? Cold as balls. Yeah, that pretty much means you're guaranteed one bad year. You could have like a pretty much, unless it's like historically bad, you could have a god awful year and you're probably safe. Safe is, uh, you probably won't be fired, but you could be fired after this season if you have a horrible season. It is you're in the right direction, but you screw up pretty badly, you'll probably be fired. Maybe even mid-season. Sketchy. Uh, your seat's getting kind of warm. You kind of need to do better. Hell, yeah, you need to improve like now. And then Phoenix, Arizona, you are like one fuck up away from getting cut, getting the can. And right off the bat, we got Sean McVay with the Rams, and yeah, cold as balls. First of all, I think the Rams are going to be really good this year, so I mean that's a big factor right there. But also, Sean McVay is one of the best coaches we've had in the NFL for years now. He's been a top tier coach every single year he's been in the league. I'm pretty sure. So yeah, I'm pretty sure his job's pretty safe. Okay, Browns, Kevin Stefanski. I think he's pretty sketchy. I mean, he's been a really good coach for the Browns, but he hasn't been producing the results that I think the Browns want. It's not even his fault. It's Deshaun Watson. Like 100% Deshaun Watson. But he's going to be the scapegoat if they keep sucking. So there's a very good chance. I think the Browns aren't going to be that good this year. This could be his last season with the Browns, which is kind of unfortunate, but some team's going to end up getting a really good head coach. All right, Raheem Morris, Atlanta Falcons. I I think he had a bit of a disappointed season last year. Some people thought that the Falcons might be like a dark horse NFC, contender. Maybe they clearly weren't, and I mean part of that was Kirk Cousins just sucking. But I think that was his first season with the Falcons. I think he's bought. I think he's safe for now. If they do really bad this year, like worse than last year with Michael Penix Jr., uh, he might lose his job. I don't know. But it's not the safest job in the world right now. Okay, Jim Harbaugh. It's almost cold as balls, right? I mean, Jim Harbaugh, his name alone is putting him in this category, right? I mean, they did pretty good last year, the Chargers. And again, I think the Chargers are going to be good this year, but I'm seeing people say, Jim Harbaugh's like a top 7 coach in the league. And I mean, maybe, um, yeah, his job's pretty safe. He's the best coach that the Chargers have had in a very long time. So yeah, he's not losing his job. Okay, Kyle Shanahan. It's pretty safe. I mean, I could see a scenario where maybe Kyle Shanahan leaves the 49ers before they fire him. But I mean, he took them to 2 Super Bowls. They're consistently competitive almost every year. I mean, even last year with all the injuries they had, they were still competitive. I mean, yeah, he's not losing his job. Dave Canellis, the master gooner himself. It's getting a little sketchy, man. Now, I think Bryce Young started doing a lot better towards the end of the year last year, but they need to be a solid team this year. If they aren't competitive, if they don't win, what in my opinion, like at least 7 games, 8 games, which isn't a lot, but if they aren't at least close to 500, he might lose his job. If Bryce Young doesn't succeed under Dave Canellis, if he struggles again this year, he might lose his job. All right, Mike McDonald. Um, it's alright. I think he's gonna be pretty. He's a pretty good head coach, but he's going into his second year. His first year wasn't the best, but it wasn't horrible by any means. He did pretty solid. I don't think he's gonna worry about losing his job anytime soon. Sean McDermott. They got to get a ring eventually, right? That's the situation. It's not even a ring. They got to make the Super Bowl at some point, right? I know the AFC's stacked, but as great of a head coach as he has been, like, if they don't start producing more in the playoffs, like, he could get the can pretty soon. But he's still such a good head coach, and they still produce at such a high level. I think his job's pretty safe for the most part. I could see a scenario where if the Bills are really bad this year, and maybe not even really bad, but like let's say they're like only 9-8 or something like that, and they get bounced in the first round. Yeah, he could lose his job maybe. Okay, Matt LaFleur, still pretty safe. Trending more in the IT category than the coldest balls situation. But, you know, he's been really successful with the Packers. They've always been pretty decent under him as a head coach. I think the Packers expect him to do a little bit better. They want more better results out of him. If Jordan Love regresses on this season, which I don't think he will, and they struggle really badly, it could get bad for it could get bad for Matt, but I still don't think he's going to lose his job by the end of this year. So I think he's pretty safe. All right, so we got our first new coach. What the fuck was... It's new, but I think the Saints are going to be god-awful this year. I do. I think their team is a mess. And if it gets really bad, he could lose his job in his first year. We're seeing that, I think... It feels like we're seeing that more often, where head coaches are getting fired in their first year if they just can't perform, at least decently. He could get fired in his first year. I don't think he will. I mean, you can never predict that, but it could happen. All right, Pete Carroll. I want to put it in the IT category. I do, because it's his first year with the Raiders, but his name carries him in a pretty safe category because of his reputation. I think he's going to be pretty safe. I think they're going to trust him and give him a couple years, even if he doesn't perform well this season. Now we got Brian Schottenheimer. I don't think the Cowboys are going to be that good this year. I don't, and it's all because of this guy right here, Brian Schottenheimer. I don't think he's going to lose his job after his first season, even if they are really bad. I don't think the Cowboys are that aggressive, and again, this feels like a yes man for Jerry Jones, so he might be with feels like a Jerry Jones yes man, so he might be there for a long time, whether or not they're bad or not. All right, Ben Johnson. Again, still new. He still should be pretty good. Depending on what they do this season, if they do even half as good as a lot of people think they will, he's probably going to bump up right into safe. So, yeah, I think, and there's not much to talk about. He's a new head coach. I don't think he's going to get fired by the end of this year. I seriously doubt that. Shane Steichen. I mean, yeah, I don't know, man. It's getting pretty sketchy. I don't think he's going to lose his job, but, it's kind of like a Kevin Stefanski issue. It's just their quarterbacks just suck, man. Anthony Richardson blows. He just does. I am so tired of NFL teams drafting Jim Bros. Oh, wow, he looks so good. Look at his measurables. Can he play? Is he a dog? If they struggle this season, and again, it really won't be 100% their fault because they're probably going to be using Daniel Jones as their quarterback. I think they'll be decent, but if they really struggle this year, he could be gone. That's a real possibility. All right, now we got Mike McDaniel. Also sketchy. Dude, this guy, he's got it. I mean, dude, this just isn't going to cut it. I don't feel like 28-23, 0-2 in the playoffs. That's not good enough, man. I mean, it's decent for the Dolphins. It feels like the Dolphins aren't really hyper-aggressive with their team, but if they end up doing pretty bad this season, if they go under 500, again, he could lose his job pretty easily. All right, Mike Vrabel. He's pretty safe. Again, there's a few new head coaches, quote-unquote new head coaches, that I'm not putting in here. If they're former head coaches, they don't go in this category. They have to be completely new head coaches. Again, his name alone and his reputation with the Patriots is going to keep him for at least a couple seasons, right? He should be really good. I think the Patriots are going to be pretty decent this year. I think they got a good team, and I like Mike Vrabel. I thought he never should have lost his job. We got Dan Campbell. I know it's probably pretty shocking. You probably think I'd put them in cold as balls, but honestly, I think the Lions are becoming more and more aggressive. I think they're really trying to win. And if Dan Campbell, I mean, I love the dude to death, I do, but like, I think the Lions are going to regress this season a little bit. And when I say that, I just think they're not going to go 15-2 this season and go undefeated on the road. Like, that was just crazy. I think they're going to regress a little bit, but they got to make the playoffs this year. I feel if they don't make the playoffs this year, which I think they will, yeah, it could get pretty scary for Dan. I still don't think he's going to get fired, though, at the end of this year. Like, I don't. I just don't see that happening, but it's not as safe as you probably think. Zach Taylor. Hell. It's in hell. I think Zach Taylor, this very well could be his last season. He might even get fired midway through. I mean, look at this. His record with the Bengals, 37-44 with a tie. That's worse than I thought it was before I even put him in that category. Like, you can't... Like, I know he took the Bengals to a Super Bowl, but that was Joe Burrow more than anything. And I think the Bengals are going to be pretty bad this year. I don't think their defense is fucking... It's garbage, in my opinion. And it seems like he's not even really that well liked in Cincinnati. It feels like he hasn't been for years. I'm kind of surprised he still is the head coach over there. So, yeah, I think he's probably screwed. Am I going to put anybody in this category? I don't even know yet. So we got Brian Callahan with the Titans. Sketchy, but I'm not going to lie. It's probably a lot closer to the Ike category. And the reason I say that is I think Cam Ward's going to be pretty decent. I think they're going to have a decent year. I think they're going to have a bounce back season. Are they going to be elite? No. No, they're not. But they're not going to be as bad as they were last year. Well, obviously, they were the worst team in the league. Yeah, I think he does need to produce a little bit this season. If he doesn't, then yeah, he might be screwed. But I think it's sketchy for now, but it's probably pretty safe overall. All right, Nick Sirianni. It's really weird. Even after winning a Super Bowl, I still don't think I'd put it as cold as balls. Like, I don't know why. I think it might just be how aggressive the Eagles are. Like, if the Eagles really regress this season, he might lose his job. But I just think ultimately, if you win a Super Bowl with the team, you're guaranteed to lose one safe season as a head coach, right? Like, that's how it should be, right? You won the Super Bowl. If your team sucks the following year, I think you're still good, right? That's how it should be. Duval. No. Yeah, Liam Cohen, right? That's his name? Yeah. I can't remember everybody's names, guys. All right, give me a break. It's hot as shit in here. He was pretty good with the Bucs. I think he helped out Baker Mayfield quite a lot, being the offensive coordinator down there. And with Trevor Lawrence, he really could turn him around. Also, I don't think he's going to lose his job after this season, right? I mean, the Jags have struggled for a while now. I just don't see him losing his job mid-season. I think he's pretty safe for now. Sean Payton. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty safe. I mean, I think name value goes pretty hard, but also, like, he's done really good with the Broncos like he has. He took them to the playoffs last year, which I think was the first time they made the playoffs since, I think it's since 2015, right, with Peyton Manning. So, yeah, I think he's pretty safe for right now, and I think the Broncos are going to be pretty good this season regardless, so that's going to be interesting. Brian Daboll. I forgot that he was still the head coach of the Giants. Like, I just remembered that. He has... Dude, this guy... It sucks because I think he's a good head coach. I just think the Giants are just a mess, to be honest with you. But, like, he's so close to losing his job, I feel. Like, I really do think that way. Like, he needs to do better with the team. What is his record? Yeah, 18-32-1. Like, yeah, man, that ain't gonna cut it, right? As bad as the Giants are, eventually, like, you're just going to lose your job. All right, now we got Kevin O'Connell with the Vikings. I know it doesn't make a lot of sense, but he literally won Coach of the Year last year and made Sam Darnold elite. I think I think he's pretty safe. I do. Jonathan Gannon. I don't know if it's this bad yet, but it's pretty fucking bad. Yeah, I would put it in this category. His record is 12-22. Like, it's just bad, dude. It's just really bad. All right, even last year when the Cardinals were decent, they were so unbelievably boringly mid. They just got to do better, man. They just do, and they could, but if they don't, he's probably gonna lose his job. All right, John Harbaugh. Is it cold as balls? I don't know. Again, it's kind of like Sean McDermott. Like at some point, dude, like Lamar Jackson has to make the Super Bowl, right? I think this is the last year that they're going to put up with this crap. If they don't make the Super Bowl this year, I really think they might just let go John Harbaugh, which is crazy. I don't know if that's the right move, but like, I don't know. You just need to perform in the playoffs, man. But again, he's so successful in the regular season. That's really hard to. He's safe, right? He's safe for right now for sure. We got Mr. Walrus himself, Andy Reid. I mean, there's not really much to explain, right? He's one of the greatest head coaches of all time. He's won 3 rings with the Chiefs. They're always they made the Super Bowl last year. Yeah, his job is as safe as it possibly could be. Todd Bowles, honestly, it's a little sketchy. I mean, maybe it's I'll put it in eight. I mean, he's taken the Buccaneers to the playoffs the last 2 years, but I think they want him to do a little bit more. I don't think he's the best head coach in the world. I think it's pretty safe for right now, but again, I think if they don't make the playoffs this year, I think he's out. I'll be honest with you. All right, and we got Aaron Glenn of the Jets. No, not much to explain. I think he'll do pretty well, right? Little sketchy. Defensive-minded head coach, first year with a sketchy organization. Not a great fit. A little sketchy, but I think he'll be all right. And now we got the man himself, Mr. 500, Mike Tomlin. I really want to say eight. I really do. Actually, you know what? I will put him at eight. See, like, here's the thing, right? The Steelers organization is so fucking, like, they just don't have balls, man. Like, they need to get rid of this guy. I don't care what anybody says, dude. The standard for the Steelers for the last, I don't even know how long, it has been, okay, win 9-10 games and then get destroyed in the first game of the playoffs. That's been the standard. That's been the plan, the formula for like 7-8 years now. They're not a real franchise. I think they'll be decent. Maybe they do really good with Aaron Rodgers, best case scenario, but I don't even think that's going to happen. The only reason why I think there's a higher chance of him getting fired this season is we're finally seeing the media push this as well. They're finally questioning Mike Tomlin when the fans have been questioning him for years now. Again, if the same thing happens, maybe the heat from the media will be enough for the Steelers to finally do something. I don't know. Okay, we got Dan Quinn. Yeah, he's safe. He's safe for right now. Nobody thought. Here's the thing. Nobody thought Dan Quinn was going to be that good with the Commanders last year. In fact, a lot of people thought he was going to suck. I was the one guy, and you can look back on my videos. You probably have to look back pretty far on TikTok. I actually thought Dan Quinn was going to be decent. He was a decent head coach. I thought he was going to be all right. I didn't think he was going to take him to the freaking NFC Championship in his first year. Nobody saw that coming. Yeah, his job's safe. Like, it's just completely safe. I don't see him losing his job this year. Not at all. DeMeco Ryans. Pretty safe. CJ Stroud regressed a little bit last year, and I think that's probably just a sophomore slump. I think they expect a step forward now, and if they regress and CJ Stroud continues to regress, yeah, that could be bad. He could lose his job, but I don't think he will. But yeah, I think this list is pretty fucking solid. Yeah. I can't wait for it to get cold again, dude. I'm sick of this shit.